Okay, this should just be a shortest video. I hope it's going to be a shortest video. Basically just going over my initial thoughts on the guide to Ravenloft. I haven't read everything 100% fully or in depth. I've just literally just done my scan and wanted to share my thoughts with people. Give things a bit of a score, go through things category by category, rate them, and then at the end, go through and tell people what I really kind of think they should be buying. Obviously, D&D Beyond lets you buy books by parts and chapters, and if I'm honest, I think it's a better way to review stuff by telling you this is probably what you need for your group. And that was really loud. That should be better. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So let's start off. Get my stuff all sorted up. Move you over here. Nope, that's a bad idea. There we go. That should work for now. So yeah, essentially, let's start at the beginning. First chapter, character options, character creation. What do I think of stuff in this bit? A lot of the stuff is surprisingly good for character options. This book is definitely a pro-character book. There is some things I'm a little bit worried about. It seems that they are doubling down on effectively just throwing out racial attributes out the window. We see in this book they have the 3 points attributes, which is this the direction that we're going to see in 6th edition? Are we going to do away with thematic attribute points and just let players decide them? Is it mechanically that's not going to affect anything? Most races only have a +2, +1. But thematically, story written rise, it's going to destroy effectively what we know about our races. The elf now can 100% be stronger and faster than your orc. So thematically, it's not going to make sense if they do that. They're going to have to, if they want to go that route with 6th edition, they're going to have to refine it. However, that's just the sort of broader spectrum of things on this book. So we see the lineages where they go through the stuff, go through that racial bonuses and the races that are possible. But if we go through, Dark Gifts is another part of the character creation options. It's surprisingly bare. It's very underwhelming. It doesn't add much. When I seen Dark Gifts, I thought they were going to take the Curse of Strahd gifts you could acquire in that and revamp them, really up the consequences of taking a good Dark Gift. But no, it's very basic. They are more just token roleplay options. There's no massive downside to anything or massive upside to anything. It's, in effect, I have to say, what would be the point of taking these written as is? Maybe a DM needs to step in and really flip them up. Like, I had a few ideas of taking Curse of Strahd, keeping the benefits as is, but then flipping the disadvantage so it's actually mechanical rather than just RP. But that's obviously not what people are here for. Subclasses. I do want to do a video on these subclasses completely on its own. These subclasses are amazing. So let's College of Spirits. I call it a Bard of Spirits for some reason. I'm not sure why. This is a total flip around from what I know of bards. Like, it's been a while since I've played a bard, but I do enjoy playing them when I do. It's this bit, the bardic inspiration area, that's totally done a flip. Rather than it just being a flat bonus you can give to someone, you can give your bardic inspiration and something can actually happen now in addition to that bonus. These, some of them seem really powerful, some of them seem less so, but they're all useful, all usable, which is good. The Bard Spirit also can now speak with spirits at 6th level. However, I then have to add, like, once you get to 6th level as this class, everything just gets boring. You're going to be waiting a long time to unlock anything new subclass specific anyway. The Undead Warlock is very different to how I understood a Warlock at first, but then I started to read through it and it made more sense. This Warlock is your damage dealer, your control, your area of effect caster. These guys are powerful, really powerful, and a good flip around is what I'm reading here is that you don't have to waste a spell slot for your escape button. It's your collapse abilities are now your escape button. You can turn into a spirit, leaving your body behind and doing your magic stuff. Alternatively, you can just warp out of that area. You are no longer going to have to use your spell selections, which is very limited as a warlock, to get escape options. Overall, class options. I really want to, player options. It's inspired me. I want to be a player again rather than just a forever GM, which hopefully the opportunity is going to come for me to build these characters. Honestly, 7, maybe 8 out of 10 for Chapter 1. And then Domains of Dread. Chapter 2. Being honest, I don't find this section that useful for me personally. Newer DM might find this more useful than me, so I can't throw it out exclusively. It's going to give you checklists on what to do at certain points. Creating a Dark Lord, it tells you what to think about, what to write about, their background. It makes sure you avoid writing a character that is, I'm evil because I did such a basic act that makes me evil. It makes you think, why did they do that act? Creating the domain, the same again. It tells you to evolve the details you got from your Dark Lord and bring them into your domain. A dark reflection, I think it calls it. It also tells you to think about the culture, what monsters are in this area, how the misty borders work, which is a common thing, and I'm going to bring that up again in a later section. As well as that, we have our genres of horror. This is amazing. I encourage all DMs to actually read this section through. It's super useful. It highlights what a genre is, what key points you need to pull from it, and it also tells you, is there any warning signs that you need to let your players about? Maybe the player is unsettled by certain factors. This is going to give you a heads up, oh, your player might be worried about this point if you do that genre. It lets you know and warn and avoid that stuff. It also tells you, yo, these are the monsters which are in all our books already. Go have a look at these, use these ones. It tells you what villains to use, what hooks to deploy. It tells you why your Dark Lord is in this world and what he's doing, what has tormented him, driven him to do these dark acts. It gives you setting information, certain sites and dungeons, plot hooks. You get the idea. That stuff's really useful. And that is the saving grace of this entire section, because the other sections to me are not useful. Overall, this section would have been rated very low if it wasn't for the information on genres. And that information pushes it way up to a 7 out of 10 straight away. Moving on, we have domains. Oh god. Where to really start? This is not one of the worst sections in this book, but the second worst. That's probably going to be quite contentious. The domains in it are just basic and bare bones. The ones that are really well written already exist in other books. So I literally see no point in this chapter, because the domains that are new only have 1 or 2 sites and they don't really seem that interesting. Maybe it's good as an inspiration, as a launching point, but why would you really want that? But you see, there's a lot here. It's all nothing. Like, I can't describe it in a way. There's nothing there. It's just a lot of fluff. Use it as inspiration or just skip over it. I skip over it personally. It's useless to me. I've got Curse of Strahd. I know what Realms of Horrors look like. Going forward. Chapter 4. Horror Adventures. This is the worst section of this book. It has... I have to describe it as what it is. It's a copy and paste. If you have Tasha's or Candlekeeps, you have everything in that's in this information. There's a few new things. It's reflavored, reworded, but essentially, it's just the same as what's in the other books. If you are a horror DM, you shouldn't need any of this advice anyway. Everything is basic stuff. Everything a decent DM should know. New DMs might find use for this, but experienced veteran DMs, this is all pointless for you guys. It tells you, like, hey, props, lighting, this is all stuff you should know and be using already. Pacing, same again. Letting your players fill the gaps, everyone knows that. That's a basic DM rule. It gives you some tools, horror deck, the board spirits, so on and so forth. Horror toolkit seems useful, isn't that useful if you know what you're doing. Yeah, that section, I have to rate it what it is. It's a 2 out of 10. I can't rate it any higher. There's nothing there. However, I have split this one off into its own chapter, because I know you can buy it as a separate thing, which is good. House of Lament. I am not going to scroll any further because I don't want any spoilers. This, from what I've read, is an amazing adventure. I'm going to play this at some point, and I will offer full review. This is... It's good. It's an investigation, almost Call of Cthulhu-esque adventure in the 5th edition rule set. Like I said, I haven't played it, so I can't give it a score or anything like that. But I will at a later date, I hope. Chapter 5, Monsters. It's a bestiary. I can't say anything more than that. It's monsters. More monsters is always good in my opinion. It gives you inspiration to homebrew your own. It also gives you ways to trick and confuse your characters with new stat blocks. A lot of them are very... I personally love the art of some of these monsters. Like, it's amazing. That's basically it, though. Okay, what sections do you need to buy? This is where it does get a little bit complicated. It really depends on who you are and what you want out of this book. If you are a player, you do not need anything other than Chapter 1. However, your DM's probably going to have it at this point. This has been the most hyped up book in a long time. It has been hyped up since before Candlekeep, so everyone has probably pre-ordered this book and now owns it. So, Chapter 1, as a player, you should probably get it, but your DMs won't most likely already got it. DMs, this is where it does get incredibly complicated. If you are an experienced DM, you know what you're doing and you are very confident. If you are particularly experienced in horror, you don't need much. You only need Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Wait, no, let me reread my notes. No. Experienced DM, you only need Chapter 1 and 5. You get your extra monsters and you get the stats for your players. All you need. The other stuff's just fluff. You don't need it. You should know everything. If you're a confident DM but new to horror, you're going to want to add Chapter 2 to that mix, because it gives you the advice on domains and dark lore. It tells you about the genres. You might want to add Chapter 4. That's up to you. I think you're just throwing away your money there, and there's better resources you can get for free just by a quick Google search. If you are totally new to DM, maybe it's less than a year experience, you're going to want Chapters 1, 2, 3... 1 and 2, essentially. You need these chapters. You're a new DM, you're new to the horror genre. You may also want to add Chapter 3, but if you have Curse of Strahd, chuck that chapter out the window. You don't need it. You're also going to want Chapter 4. I would specifically just focus on getting the House of Lament. This is to get you started and to help you understand how to run horror. And like all other groups, you're going to want Chapter 5. You want more monsters. You want horror. So, my opinion as a whole, this is a very polarized book. There's some parts which are awesome, some parts which are terrible. I have to give it a final score that results that this book as a whole, 6 out of 10. A newer DM would probably rate this book as higher, but they also have to spend more money to get everything they need. Like, just buy the parts you need on D&D Beyond. No one is particularly going to need Chapter 3. It's the biggest chapter, it's probably going to be the most expensive, but it's worthless in the long run. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with me, if you rate it higher, if you think Chapter 3 and 4 are like the most important chapters of this book. I don't know. I will hope to see you around it at a later point.